Welcome from Dublin to Cleveland. I am your host, Logan Howard. I am the Cleveland half of this portion. And to my left or right, whichever it is on the screen, is my good friend, Brendan Merriment from Dublin. And he is, of course, my Andy Griffith to my Don Knotts. Brendan, how are you today?
I was doing great, Logan, until you butchered my surname. Marriott,
Oh, great.
2 syllables.
Oh, great. This is going to be a great.
Don't worry, guys, we haven't been friends that long.
No, no. Now, and it's not really a friendship. It's more of just a tolerance issue. So, we just get along.
No one else was online one
right,
night, so what you gonna do? Make the best of what you have.
Yeah. Nobody was nice enough to, hang out. They were just like, this guy from Ireland, forget about it. Like,
it's like, is that even a country?
All right, so we're exactly.
I think it's part of Britain.
Yeah, and for the whole podcast audience, not gonna lie, I did at one point say he was from Scotland, so I don't know that I can,
more than once
stand on this. More than
it's like,
once,
Brendan,
yes.
do you like your queen?
It was enjoyable.
Yes, I do, and no, she is not mine.
All right, so anyway,
the one listener who is still
where, Brendan, are you exactly from?
I live in a town called Ardee in County Louth, Ireland, which in Irish is pronounced Áha Urdia in Contelu in Éireann. So it's a lovely little town in the northeast of the country. We are currently going through I suppose what you would classify in Ireland as a heat wave. In other countries, would classify as a cold day. So I'm about 20 minutes from the two biggest towns in my county, Dundalk and Drogheda. I'm about 40 minutes from Northern Ireland, but do not worry, I'm on the right half of the border. And I'm about 1 hour away from Dublin. However, when we became friends on a certain website, which we'll mention soon, my town could not be located on the map, so I had to pretend that I was a Dubliner. But no, never, ever. And where are you from, Logan? If the title isn't already given.
All right. I am from northeast Ohio, which is so. Also, I am not from Cleveland. I live about 30 minutes outside of Cleveland. For those of you who know anything about Ohio, I live in a small town not far from Elyria, Ohio, or as I just heard someone pronounce the other day, Ilaria is how somebody pronounced it, but I don't know how.
Love it.
I don't understand pronunciation.
So much better.
Sometimes people can get really weird. Like there's another town in Ohio called Toledo is how we correctly pronounce it, but there's a lot of people that would just pronounce it Toledo, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to Toledo, and I just have the hardest time not to crack up laughing when they say that. So yeah, but yeah, I left 30 minutes from Cleveland, probably good 3 hours from Columbus, which is the capital of Ohio. So yeah, that's where I'm from. Yeah. So anyway, it's sort of a strange thing that somebody from the other sides of the Atlantic would end up being friends. So I'll turn it over to Brendan to give us his side of the story of how we met.
Because it's such a complex and riveting tale, people, that there are more than two sides to this. Yeah, so we have both been long-term fans of the YouTube channel Blimey Cow. Go check them out; they're pretty awesome. And just there last year, maybe back in December, 2020, for those of you who listen to this 100 years in the future, when we were still famous, albeit dead. And then back in December, I decided to become a Patreon of said YouTube channel. And Logan had already beaten me to it. He was a long-term supporter of theirs. And then one night, they were having a small live chat or live stream for the Patreons. So I went against my better nature and I decided to stay up until an ungodly hour and join in. And Josh, the guy leading it, just asked if anyone was new. And I was like, I'm new, so I am. And he was like, great, everyone can see you. And I was like, what? So he began asking me some questions about my life. And I just answered along. And he asked me what my interests were. And I happened to mention weaponry. And he was like, oh my goodness, do you have any? And I was like, of course I do. And he asked me to show them on the screen. However, it was, like I said, an ungodly hour, very, very late. And I was in bed and butt naked. I wasn't really dressed. And I was like, oh, jeepers, now what do I do? So after struggling for about 5 minutes, I just had to like literally throw my laptop away, hoping not to like smash the machine while hiding myself in the camera. Run down, grab the weapons, jump up and give everyone a demo. And then Josh said, that was amazing. You should take photographs and put them on the community, which is Why Me Cow's Patreon page. And no sooner had I done that than someone from a town or whatever Ohio is, a state, I don't know, but that I only ever associate with the TV show Glee, was like, hello, how are you? I like your photographs. And here we are. Anything to add, bro?
So when he says a long-term supporter, I had literally probably joined not
I
too
exaggerated.
So so he exaggerated.
I'm trying to make you look
but
good.
You know, we all do that, don't we?
Even
yes,
as I said,
so
I was like, hold on, that's not
I had
true.
joined like the week before. I had gone on, yeah, I had gone on to the first like meetup chat, and I had been on there, and so the second one came around, and I had nothing going on that evening, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's go on, let's meet some of these new people, and so yeah, Brendan came up, and of course, he starts talking about all of his Marvel interests and his weaponry, and look at me, I have a Thor's hammer, and I was like, yes, this guy is cool. So, and he's from Ireland on top of it, so this is even more cool.
Little did he
So
know.
normally when you start like, yeah, little did he know. When you start interacting with people online, you're never sure exactly like if they're going to like ever respond to you, or if they're gonna like want to chat with you. So you kind of just like throw yourself out there. You're like, hey, that was really cool. And so I think we started ending up talking about just about whatever. We started talking about Marvel and movies and um, it, tons of Star Wars stuff. It got crazy. I think we had maybe what was it, 245 messages or something crazy on that specific post that you had. We just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally were like, okay, since we're going back and forth, we should probably, just chat in private so that nobody has to read every single stupid comment we send. So for those of you in the community that are listening to this, we're sorry, we apologize, and we've tried not to make that an issue for you guys. So you don't have to immediately see the post just come back over and over again. Yes, that happened a lot, didn't it? So yes, so that's sort of
like,
how
oh
we got to know
did
each
you
other.
see what she was wearing?
And we've yeah, so yeah, that's sort of our
awkward silence.
Our background of how we met, which again seems a bit ridiculous because like just some people meeting, and it's not like the community is like a hugely known thing. I can't think there's more than what would you say, 1,000 people on there if we're going like extreme.
If even, I would have said close to 600.
The number. So it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, so there's not a terrible amount of people on there, but it's a good place to get away from like your Facebooks and your Instagrams, which can sometimes get overwhelming, and sort of you feel like you don't belong there, like you're just a number and you're not really getting anywhere. So yeah, it's nice to get into a group of people who are sort of who are like minded, and you can have some good discussions on there. So that's sort of how we met. So Brendan, tell us some of what you're like interested in. What are your like hobbies, things you like to do that are not work related?
I think people do things after work. I love Marvel, as Logan said. Um, Spider-Man is probably my favorite hero. I probably prefer reading the X-Men more, just for the variety. Cyclops is just phenomenal. And in my spare time, I like actually writing fan fiction because anyone who's followed the X-Men movies will know that they started off pretty great and then became pretty tragic. So tragic is not as in sad, but as in pathetic. So I've kind of rewritten most of their movies and TV shows into a continuity that actually works. So that's what I do for fun in my free time. As Logan said, I like collecting weapons, hammers, swords, eskrima, bamboo sticks, you name it. I like it. Uh, okay, that sounded like I lick it. It should have been I like it. Um, I like walking. I know it's probably the like pathetic thing you can possibly do, but over the last year and a half, I actually just like walking around and just actually admiring natural beauty. I think it's so easy to take landscapes and even some more residential areas or estates or small communities for granted. But there's just so much natural beauty out there, and I just actually love seeing beautiful things in nature without sounding too hippie. Doing anything else for fun. I love reading. Reading's great. That said, I've kind of found it hard actually to read over the last year and a half when I've had time to. But usually when my schedule is a lot fuller, not busier, I love reading as well. Historical fiction, fantasy, science fiction, it's all great. What about you? Also
I
love
am
traveling, but everyone
a.
says traveling, so
How do everybody says traveling? Come on, yeah. I can agree with Brendan on a couple points. First of all, definitely Marvel movie person. Um, as for the enjoying nature, that's also a really fun, enjoyable thing to do. Especially, for the longest time, for those of you, who are from, like 30 years in the future, where you didn't go through COVID and all that stuff. That was a great way to get away from like being locked in your house for a long time and not being able to go out and do things, and being able to go for a walk is always something that I think I'll appreciate, and seeing God's creation, His handiwork, and all that He's done just out in a simple field is super awesome. I've met people who are more of a sports fan than I am, so I can't say I'm like a massive sports fan, but I can say for those of you who one day will get to see this a video of our chat, is I have a completely bronze colored room, like that's orange and brown and white, and that's sort of what I'm into, is NFL football. I love watching it. I love watching it every Sunday, every Thursday, every Friday, whatever day it's on. I'm watching it. Um, so we're getting ready for a new season. Excited about that. Got our fantasy draft in the other night, so we've got all of our teams set, ready to go. Um, but but I've been told by my mother that watching sports or watching movies is not considered a hobby because you're not doing anything. You're just sitting and watching. So now, if you go on any Google and you're just like, "Hey, what is a hobby?" it will come up as a hobby. So take it with a grain of salt. Which is the real thing here? Which is which is true? Um, but the other thing I enjoy doing is I've been getting into wood burning, which is the basically you get like a hot point, a hot pen sort of thing, and you're just burning into wood and making um, making crazy cool things like I think I've made a robin wall hanging, so just like stenciling in a robin, and um, I've got tons of projects of wood burning that are just sitting randomly around my room that are waiting to be done, but I haven't come up with the right idea to do to use. Um, so that's about what I do. Other than going to church is all good. To spend my free
Ugh,
time.
is this a Christian podcast?
So yeah, that's
Stop forcing
that
your
is
religion
our.
on me.
I believe so. I know, right? Get out of here with that. I don't want to listen to this. Hashtag things
Ugh,
you should
Jesus
not say
freaks.
in your
Ugh.
first podcast.
Is this what
Well,
they call
seeing
friendship
as he brought
evangelism?
it up,
Ugh.
we might as well go. We might as well go to the Bible, seeing as we've just already outed ourselves as Jesus freaks. Um, so, if you have your Bible with you, you are welcome
I've
to
met myself.
turn in it. If you don't, just take our words for it. What we're going to talk in Proverbs 27, verse 17, and this is how we will close all of our podcasts. Is we'll try and give you a word of encouragement, a word from the Bible that hopefully will help you in your walk, in your daily lives, that can make you go, hey, this is a cool verse. This is something that I can hang my hat on, or some truth, something, because, in this world, we don't have a lot of truth thrown in our face very often. So we're going to do that. So again, let's go to Proverbs 27, verse 17. So it says, "As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend." So, Brendan, what does that mean to you? If somebody came up to you and was like, "Man, iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend," what does that mean to you?
Yeah, no, it's an amazing passage of scripture and probably one of the most quoted Bible verses out there. Um, when iron is banged against iron to maybe perhaps reshape it, it's loud, it's got to be hot, it's unpleasant. What ultimately happens is you're refashioning the second iron into a particular shape or superior for a superior function or something. And it's a lot like that with God's kids. We can absolutely annoy each other and embarrass each other, say things to each other that we really don't like. But ultimately, when God is behind it, it is perfecting you. And it might feel at times like it's fire and it's hot and it's painful. But ultimately, God has a plan, and He is fashioning you into the man or woman He's called you to be in order to achieve your destiny. And sadly, you don't always get that by being alone. There are times when it's good to be alone. There are times it's good to distance yourself from other people. But ultimately, it is God's desire that we live together in unity and that we aren't lone wolves, but that we exist as a corporate unit, all separate body parts coming together as one body of Christ. Because just like the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit are uniquely individual beings, time and time again the Word says there's only one God. So they're always in agreement with each other, and they never disagree, they never fall out. Jesus isn't stomping his feet in heaven like, "Dad, why'd you say that in the book of Deuteronomy? You're embarrassing me." But rather, it is God saying that we live together in unity, and we sharpen each other through that. We become more and more like the Godheads, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. What does it mean to you, Logan?
Yeah. I guess I want to point out the countenance of his friend. So basically, as Brendan was saying, like when you hang out with other people, it makes your life better. Now, yeah, you're going to run into difficult people. Let's be honest. I will raise my hand as I can be a difficult person. I can be stubborn. I can be difficult. I can be tough to deal with at times. But this idea of sharpening the countenance of your friend is just, hey, when you hang out with people, you're supposed to be an encouragement, uplifting, and I'm sure all of you have. If you think about it, if you sit down
Mm,
for a minute and just think about having a friend come over to your house, or have a friend talk to you over, a chat or whatever, you just immediately are like, wow, this is really cool. I have somebody who's my friend, and I have a better attitude when I have a friend. And
mm,
honestly, in today's day and age, we can easily get um, caught in so many bad thinking and bad attitudes when we're by ourselves, because we're stuck with just us, and we
true.
realize, you know, we struggle with
Mm,
things, and we're not always the best, and we get frustrated with ourselves when we make mistakes, and having someone else who gives us encouragement and says, "Hey, you're doing a good job," and you give some affirmation, is an awesome thing that I think we all need in life. Is we need somebody to say, "Hey, you're doing okay," and not so that not to the point where we just don't believe them, but so that that they're it's a genuine true thing, that they're like, hey, you're either being too
amen.
hard on yourself, or anything like that. So yeah, that's something that I wanted to point out, is just, so like he was saying, like iron sharpens iron, which, Brendan has lots of weapons. It would be kind of a bad weapon if it was just like, you know a right angle, and didn't look right, and wasn't sharpened, and it like it would be pretty pathetic and lame, and he probably would not pick it up or buy that thing because it's dumb. It doesn't serve its purpose. Whereas the same sort of thing is, we're supposed to be created to be to have friends, to have people around us that encourage us and be with us. And if we don't have it, we're sort of bent, we're disformed, we're not the weapon we need to be in this world. And so that's our word of encouragement this week. So some things to look forward to. We have some plans of what we're going to do. We're going to be um, doing some crazy things, like, if you guys have quizzes for us, like, hey, you have an American quiz, I can definitely quiz Brendan on those, and maybe I'll know the questions, maybe I won't know the questions, who knows, it could be fun. So send us your quizzes, send us any of your feedback. If you are a somebody who's really good at editing things, oh, please let me know, come on over, I will gladly let you edit whatever you want out of our podcast. Well, I shouldn't say whatever, you know,
But we will not
be
pay you.
respectful with that. But if you're, yeah, no, not yet. We got to make money first, okay? We're working on it. So, yeah, let us know what you think. Give us if you have nasty comments, please leave us your nasty comments. We will for sure have a nasty comment section where we will gladly read them all out, have a good chuckle, have a good laugh. Because, we're all humans. We all need a little bit of criticism every once in a while, no matter how insane they are. Tell us how we all sound like Sesame Street characters,
Uh-huh.
or how we sound like a certain person that is just, you know, an idiot, or anything like that. Just send us a message. We'd love to hear it, and we'd love to. So anyway, to get into contact with us, at least for this moment, for this episode, send all of your emails, all of your critiques, all of your criticism, questions, answers, to L lhowa62 at wgu.edu. So that is LHOWA 62 at wgu.edu. So send those. Should be in a link to any of the podcasts or formats you listen to this on. It should be on there. You should be able to send an email, and we will gladly listen to it, take it into heart. We'll try not to take it personally. No promises. But yes, so we look forward to hearing from you. So for this week, your questions that you need to answer for us this week is um, think about your life, think about your friends. Do you have some good friends? Are you hanging out with your friends? Maybe even as you listen to this, go hang out with some friends after this. Whatever you're doing, think about that. Make sure you have good friends in your life. Make sure that they are people who can encourage you and not tear you down. because the last thing you want is friends who are like not nice or kind. Brendan, do you have anything you want to add to close us out, to send us on to at the end of episode one?
Yeah, just make sure that if you are sending us hate mail, just direct it to my companion, Logan. His heart is a bit thicker than mine. I will break, and you do not want me to break. And sure, even in when
I will.
you're
I
sending
will only
some
share the
feedback,
things
send
that
us
are
some
not
messages.
so evil.
About and send us some messages too about times when you have sharpened another friend in your world, or when they have sharpened you. What did the individual person say? How did it feel? And how did God use that as an opportunity to make you more like Christ?
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully, we will see you all shortly and hear from you. Please send as many messages as you need. If it's 50 a day, I will gladly take that. So, listen to our podcast. We'll be
Our
putting out more
self-esteem
episodes.
needs this, people.
It'll be out shortly. It should be every. Yes, yes. We our esteem needs this, definitely. But yes, please send us your messages. We love to hear from you. And again, it should be about every week or so. There might be some weeks that we can't do it or can't meet, but we'll do as best we can to keep on a nice set schedule of sending out content to you. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening to it. We appreciate it, and you'll hopefully hear from us soon. Hopefully, we'll hear from you. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.